From Hollywood, time once again for Money TV. I'm Don Baillargeon. Thanks for joining us. Money TV is a program all about money and what makes it happen. Well, at first glance, it appeared that President Trump really stepped in a pile of it when he chose to take on professional athletes in a series of tweets and speeches last week. Now, there's no question, Trump's a guy who wears his emotion on his sleeve, and he's certainly redefining what the term being presidential means. The NBA champion Golden State Warriors had made a lot of noise about their decision to not accept a White House invitation to publicly celebrate their winning the title. Now, my attitude was pretty simple. You don't want to go, just don't go. But you don't have to make a big deal about it. The fact the team did make a big deal about it obviously ruffled the president's feathers, and he publicly withdrew the invitation. Then there were Trump's statements made at a rally in Alabama about NFL players who were refusing to stand for the national anthem. Again, not his best choice of words, and not an issue the president should have wandered into. Now, let's face it, he stood no chance of coming out on top, given the non-stop anti-Trump rhetoric that exists in today's media. Now, as anyone could have predicted, the media fell all over themselves with vigorous glee in slamming his words, and athletes from the NBA and NFL were quick to respond with their own criticisms. The carefully choreographed protests on NFL Sunday to me looked like an episode of The Gong Show. Which team was going to have the most pathetic act? But a funny thing happened on the way to the forum. The average cost for a family to attend an NFL game, including 4 adult average price tickets, a couple of draft beers, 4 soft drinks, 4 hot dogs, parking for 1 car, and 2 of the cheapest adult-size hats, is around $700. Now that's a sizable chunk of change for roughly 3 hours of entertainment. The families in the stadiums who paid that kind of money to be there were not amused by the national anthem protests, and the sound of fans booing their hometown teams could be clearly heard on the TV broadcasts. Now, speaking of TV, viewership of pro football, it's down measurably as a grassroots movement to boycott the NFL is brewing and gaining traction. I've never heard of a business that can thrive while publicly insulting their core customers. Empty seats and reduced TV and ad revenue is going to get somebody's attention. Once again, the media tried to tell Americans what to think, and once again, they were wrong. Now, here's something that's never wrong. Toll-free number for free information about our featured guest, 888-259-4449. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. Again, toll-free from anywhere in the world, 888-259-4449. Visit us at MoneyTV.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Our first guest is joining me in studio, Mr. Dave Massey. Dave is the CEO of Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation. Their stock symbol is SIRC. Dave, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks very much. Happy to be here.
Well, it's been a little while since we've seen each other face to face. Why don't you tell us again what the company does?
We're a residential roofing and solar company. We specialize in roofing solar packages for homeowners to eliminate their electric bill and give them a new roof and lower basically their monthly cost and add value to their homes.
Well, you're kind of in a unique situation as I see it, because there are roofing companies, there are solar power companies. We've talked to both on this program. You're the first one I've talked to that does both, and you're able to come into a person's home and say, okay, you need a new roof, and here's how you can have the new roof plus add solar to it as well. Tell us about that.
You know, the average electric bill in San Diego is where we're based out of, is between $250 to $300 a month. We can add a solar system to their home, get them a low-cost interest loan for the solar system and the roof combo, and get them a fixed payment for usually less than that, and usually a lot less than that, and also give them a roof at the same time. At the same time, they get a tax credit, which is really nice.
Now, usually these things are amortized over about 5 to 7 years. So
closer to 12.
Closer to 12, okay. Right. So basically, that payment is pretty darn close to what they were paying in electricity. At the end of the loan, the electricity becomes free.
Exactly. It's funny, I still do the in-home sales presentations, and I sit down with them and I said, you realize that if you don't buy solar now, that over the course of the next 25 years, some people would spend between $150,000 to $200,000 on electricity over 25 years.
That's incredible. Now, we had a short conversation on the show last week over the telephone. I want to reiterate a couple of the points that you made. You've done a kind of a restructuring of the company. You're adding some new board members. Tell us about that.
We're really excited. We have experience. We have a lot of experience. We're bringing on a couple young men that work for a couple large solar companies in San Diego. We're bringing on a consultant that has over 45 years experience in the public world. I finally have a team that we have put together that we can take the dream, put it in place, and make things happen.
That's great. Now, of course, the company is also, you're growing not only organically by increasing sales, but also by acquisition. I know you're targeting acquisitions. Tell us about that.
You know, we have 3 that we're looking at now that we hope to get closed by the end of the year. We have to get a little funding in place, make sure that happens. We're working with them now. If we get those acquisitions in place, our revenue will basically double by the end of the year, which is, you know, something we're all excited about.
Now, we had a conversation before we went on the air where you said the profits are doing extraordinarily well. Tell us about that.
You know, I've been working very, very hard to eliminate some overhead because we've had very much a lot of anticipated growth. So I put some people in place and some overhead in place. I had to kind of restructure to cut those back. So this last quarter, we're going to see probably double-digit profits for the first time in a long time.
Wow, that's great. Now, you've been around for a long time.
Yes, I have.
How many years has the company been in business?
Pushing 30.
30 years. And how long has the company been involved in the solar aspect of it during those 30 years?
You know, we started about 10 years ago. We have over 2,000 solar jobs installed. We typically do between 20 and 25 roof solar installs every month.
Okay. Now, when you're talking to a prospective client, it must be a relatively easy sales pitch, I would imagine, that you're saying, right now you're paying this much for electricity, you're going to pay approximately the same amount for a new roof and the solar panels, and then at the end of the amortization, the electricity becomes free, and the roof is still there.
Exactly. I have to take you on some sales calls. You do a great job. Something that we do that's a little unique is we oftentimes sell it to someone who's not even looking at solar. They call us, you know, we've been a roofing company for almost 30 years. We get calls for roofs, and they're looking to put a roof on. They say, we ask to look at their electric bill, and they say, oh, we're not really interested in solar. We haven't thought about it. But then when you show them the benefit of doing solar and roof at the same time, then that's when the transition takes place, and that's when the sale becomes easy.
Is there a resistance now that there's so much marketing towards solar these days? I mean, you can't watch TV, listen to the radio without seeing or hearing an ad. Every third time someone knocks on your door is probably a solar power salesperson. Do you run into some resistance from clients who are saying, you know, I don't want to hear about solar ever again?
No, we really don't, because most people that call us are calling to talk to us, and we do bring it up. I can't tell you how many times I've been sitting at someone's kitchen table talking to them about roof and solar, and someone knocks on the door to try to sell them solar. It's kind of funny.
Now, you mentioned you know, growing organically and growing by increased sales. What are you looking at in 2018? We're in fourth quarter now, and we're looking at 2018 projections and that kind of thing. I don't want to ask you for projected numbers because that's, you know, it's forward-looking information. But are you expecting to see the continued growth that you've been experiencing these last few years in the solar industry?
I'm confident with the new team in place that we have. Again, they had a lot of experience. I mean, a lot of experience, and they have a lot of contacts and a lot of people that they know from the industry. We're looking for great growth. I don't want to give some numbers, but we're really excited about it. Really, really excited.
Once again, the company is Solar Integrated Roofing Corporation. SIRC is their stock symbol. Dave, of course, we've reinitiated coverage of the company. Looking forward to many more updates from you over the next several weeks. Great to have you back in studio. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Now, TKO Farms Limited is operating in the country of Belize. They're growing tree plantations, and they are expecting to be the #1 organic grower of soursop trees in the entire world. They provided us with this very interesting presentation. Let's take a look at that right now.
In addition to its crystal clear waters, enchanting coral reef, and exotic wildlife, Belize, which continues to be a thriving tourist destination, is also home to TKO Farms, a lush oasis of hardwood, tropical, and citrus trees. In this video, we explore the tremendous investment opportunities of this prosperous and flourishing farmland. Specifically, TKO Farms is home to teak and mahogany trees, ideal for furniture, flooring, and boats. Citrus and coconut trees, which of course are a source of food consumption, along with health and beauty products. And the elusive soursop tree, an exciting and highly profitable fruit, rich in nutrients, vitamins, and cancer-fighting properties. Belize is a country blooming with culture, beauty, and opportunity. In fact, in a recent Forbes article, Belize was ranked as the #2 country in the world among international areas for investment opportunities. And with a population of just over 350,000, it has the lowest density population in South America. The farm is just 50 miles outside of Belize City and a 15-minute drive from the capital city. It boasts the most beautiful valley views along with enchanting sunrise and sunset mountain views. In total, there will be over 220,000 trees when fully planted on the farm. Originally, the farm consisted of 160 acres, and in the mid-2000s it expanded to over 500 acres, increasing its value almost 4 times. Here's a glimpse of our proposed new addition of 400 acres at TKO Farms. The farm consists of 3 separate sections of land. The main farm, where all the equipment and workers are housed, is approximately 400 acres with a second 112 acres just down the road 4,000 to 5,000 feet. The other 400 acres sits on the river just 1,000 feet away. With the expansion of the 400 acres, that is prime farmland, the new coconut and soursop trees will grow to produce fruit in 18 months, and another 65,500 hardwood trees will be added. At the ground level, we are excited to show you acres and acres of land and roads that allow you the freedom to get lost in this breathtaking oasis. Here at TKO Farms, we will be adding 4 cottages that are allocated to investors. These cottages are used by our investment partners 1 week out of the year. This allows you to enjoy a vacation destination at no cost and enjoy local destination points. Now we're taking a tour of the farm support and housing for employees. Here at TKO Farms, we have site farmers, farming equipment, and transportation for access throughout the farm. TKO Farms' long-term annuity are the teak trees. With trees that are 8 to 12 years old, harvest for the purpose of thinning will begin in 24 months, providing cash flow. Teak has a market value of $25 per board foot, which averages anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 per tree. Observe as a gentleman on the farm demonstrates the width of the tree to give a real perspective on how the trees are growing. There are more than 50,000 cash crops growing or to be planted among coconut, citrus, and soursop. The 8,500 orange and citrus trees produce a return now. The 9,500 coconut trees are a major asset to the farm due to the demand of coconut water, oil, meat, and other uses. Some trees are producing now, with most producing over the next 18 months. Soursop is the farm's most exciting product within the last 24 months. Over 3,000 have been planted, with some already producing fruit. This is a fruit destined to yield tremendous returns for the farm starting in the next 12 months, as there is a great demand for soursop fruit with prices at $10 a pound in stores. One soursop tree produces 5 to 20 fruit a year, and you can also get more soursop trees on an acre than almost any other tree producing this kind of return. With the allotted 400 acres, imagine the possibilities, as we will have the world's largest organic soursop farm with 10,000 trees and growing. The 400-acre farm will have, after planting, 65,500 teak, 18,750 coconut, and 9,000 soursop trees for a total 93,250 trees. Of the 512 acres, 312 acres are in hardwood trees consisting of 131,201 trees. 200 acres are planted in cash crops. Hardwood trees are like an annuity. For each year, they grow older, larger, and more valuable. The teak reaches harvesting value when the hardwood grows to occupy the entire diameter of the tree, approximately 20 to 25 years after planting. The mahogany and other hardwood take an additional 5 to 10 years. TKO Farms, Inc., consisting of acres upon acres of lush landscapes with drivable roads, leading you to 9 tree plantations rich with cash crops and long-term annuities that will yield consistent and lucrative returns for years on end. As you can see, TKO Farms is located in the most pristine tropical location, and the air is crystal clear. Come to Belize, come to paradise, and come to TKO Farms. For investment information and opportunities, please contact TKO Farms at tkofarms.com or info@tkofarms.com.
I've had this problem.
Big problem.
I really needed
a good investment forum.
And I kept searching.
and searching.
There are so many choices.
It's really hard to find one that has all the things on my list.
But I finally did it.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you.
If you were looking for one as well,
Look no further.
Here's a really good one.
Just use mine.
Use mine.
I'm very satisfied.
Definitely recommend.
Problem gone.
thank you.
Have you heard the news? There's only one flat-fee news distribution network on the market. It's called Access Wire, and it's exclusively from Issuer Direct. Any day, anytime, the Access Wire News Network can deliver your press release to more than 1,500 media outlets in 98 countries. Access Wire also delivers real-time engagement analytics. You'll learn who read and shared your press release and more. Best news of all, getting started is easy. Visit accesswire.com and extend your company's news reach today.
Hi, we're back. Thanks for staying with us and joining the phone now by Don Smith. Don is the Executive Vice President of a company called Smart Cannabis Corporation. Their stock symbol's SCNA. Don, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Don. We're glad to be back.
Well, it's been a while since we last spoke to you. Great to have you back on the program. First thing I want to bring up is you have a name change for the company.
Yes, we do. And it took a bit of doing. FINRA has a pretty rigid due diligence process, but we're now officially Smart Cannabis with the new stock symbol SCNA, and we're very excited about that. We believe it puts us in the crosshairs right in the investment community that is prime for the marketplace we're going after right now.
Well, of course, the name much better reflects what the company's involved in, correct?
Absolutely. As we've talked about, organic farming and food production being a very key marketplace for our technology, the reality is that 95% of all the sales that our company's making are going straight into the production of commercial-grade legal cannabis.
Well, that's interesting. Now, what's new at the company since we last spoke, Don? I imagine quite a bit.
Yeah, quite a bit's happened here. We continue to grow fast. In fact, last week we announced a large sale, which was the final of our third quarter that we're wrapping up this week. And once again, we're going to come in with a very, very strong result that exceeded our own expectations in both revenues and in profits. Also, last week we added 2 communication and PR experts to our team. So we're growing. I added those people. John Taylor and I felt like, hey, we need to get out and do a really good job at this point as a profitable, growing company to better communicate our brands and to make sure that the people who should know about us do know about us. And we're very excited about the content that's being developed, and you'll see that roll out in the coming weeks.
Go ahead.
No, and I would say this. I came on your show for the first time, right before the election cycle last year, and here we are coming up to it again with, 9 states having some type of legislation for cannabis on the ballot, and we just see a very exciting time out there. We have more massive sales in the pipeline, and we're looking forward to announcing those here as early in the fourth quarter as we can, and just continuing to do what we say we're doing in the marketplace.
Once again, Smart Cannabis Corporation, SCNA is the new stock symbol. Smart Cannabis Corporation, of course, a new name. Don, exciting. Looking forward to more updates from you in the future. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you soon.
And joining us in studio now is Mr. Matt Chipman. Matt is the president of Green Chip Investor Relations. Matt, always great to see you.
Glad to be here again.
What a conundrum of hilarity coming out of Washington these days.
Oh yeah, it's it never stops. We've talked about what's said and how the media twists it.
Right.
I'm trying not to get caught up in the politics, but it's it drags you in every day.
Well, let's face it, politics affects our money. We've seen yet another failure to repeal Obamacare. Now the president is probably going to make some executive order to allow interstate commerce between insurance companies. All I see is just nobody getting anything done. Everybody's just fighting. Well, it affects us.
Yeah, well, people fail to remember that same thing happened when Obama was elected. and he had, remember, he had the House and the Senate, and they
Right.
were going to put through everything,
Right.
you know, and they struggled, you know, to all align. Everybody is so opinionated these days. It's hard to get anybody, even on the same side of the fence, to agree. But
Well, the one word that I wish that would strike from the English language is the word outrage. Every headline read, well, this happened and this group is outraged. This was said and this group is outraged. I mean, can we just get some work done?
it would be nice to think, you know, that it seems like the stock market is the thing which usually reacts to
Right.
crazy when everything happens in politics or anything the president says. It's just steady Eddie,
Right.
you know, right now. So I find that to be kind of interesting that doesn't seem to be any real big gyrations in the stock market.
I think the stock market has just decided we're going to let these clowns be clowns and we're going to get back to work and just do what we do.
Well, that's what our focus is. So that's, you know, everybody keeps telling me there might be a correction soon. There will be, you know, maybe it will happen. Maybe we need it, but it doesn't. With GDP numbers continuing to come in strong, it's showing that business is still cranking. You know, there are some cracks a little bit in some real estate markets,
Sure.
you know, but I mean, look, they're going to have to rebuild these areas that just got hit with hurricanes. It's going to, and if anything, it's going to drive those economies.
It's going to drive those economies. I mean, lumber sales are going to go through the roof. Construction jobs are going to go through the roof, so to speak. I mean, you know, there's always a bright side to a bad situation.
It's interesting you brought up like lumber prices. You know, like one of the small companies I talk to represent is actually constructing homes out of steel instead of lumber. So they can construct them a lot faster. They come out and they're built exactly to specs. They actually can be built in much shorter period of time.
Let's talk about the companies that you and I concentrate on, because we concentrate on the new companies, the microcaps, the emerging growth companies. I mean, I don't see that they're affected by all the brouhaha that goes on in Washington, D.C.
No, they're not. I mean, they have their own subset of problems and their benefits. I mean, the problems do exist with small companies because, you know, sometimes they have poor challenges with access to capital,
Right.
Cash flows, you know, something small can affect them sometimes. But they also are positioned, I think especially the ones that are on the market and have survived the last 10 years, they're in a position to really grow. And identifying the right ones can really, you know, not just make you a little money, it can multiply your portfolio.
Well, you're absolutely right, because so often these companies are having such a difficult time attracting growth capital that's going to make the business grow, that's going to help them achieve their business plan. And very often, when they are unable to attract that capital, they flounder.
Yeah, and they need to maintain a good market cap, and they have to be smart about the type of funding they're getting. So it's always good. Of course, you got to do your homework. I try to identify, if I talk to somebody about a company, I try to identify, here's the upside, downside, and things that could happen. I like to look at all the scenarios. So I do obviously recommend that people can call me direct. They can discuss these things. They can talk about my experience and history and why my opinion and my relationship with the companies that I work with, why it makes sense.
How can they reach you?
They can call me direct, 818-923-5302, or shoot me an email, matt@greenchipir.com.
Once again, Matt Chipman, Green Chip Investor Relations. Matt, always a pleasure.
Thanks for having me on again.
And joining us now on the phone is Greg Lambrecht. Greg is the CEO of Single Point Incorporated, SING is their stock symbol. Greg, welcome back to the show.
Hey, thanks for having me, Don.
Well, what's new with the company, Greg? I assume a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think the main thing to talk about is, you know, we let our shareholders know that we were going to be very aggressive of acquiring companies this year to increase our revenues and net profitability. And, you know, just happy to say that we've already acquired 3 companies. And last Tuesday's press release, we have a LOI to acquire another company that has close to $1 million in revenue. I expect that to close next week. So that'll be 4 companies that we've acquired this year, and we're not stopping. This is how we're going to build the business. We've shown that we can be successful at it and execute. And from now, we're going to acquire more companies before the end of the year, and our goal is just to have them get larger. So we're really, really excited that we're executing on our plan.
Well, it is exciting because I remember when we first talked about this at the beginning of the year, you had a target to acquire companies over the course of the year, and boy, you are really keeping that promise.
Yeah, exactly. So we're very excited about that. So that's kind of our, again, that's our, you know, if you want to call it our outside strategy to generate revenues and net profitability. Our inside strategy is to continue to build out our cryptocurrency product that we hopefully are going to have done here in November and start introducing to dispensaries. So, you know, hopefully we're going to solve the banking problem at dispensaries with Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. So that we can't buy because we're actually inventing it. So that's kind of our inside sales. The other inside sales product that I want to talk about is we are really focusing on selling CBD products online. And we've got a group out of San Francisco that's one of the best in the country of SEO marketing. So we're going to be spending a lot of time and energy on building out online sales of CBD products, which is very, very hot right now.
We're almost out of time. Before we went on the air, you mentioned there's a possibility of some financing coming down the road too?
Oh, yeah, thanks for asking. Yeah, we've been working on a very large funding opportunity, and that looks like that's going to be happening within the next week, if not sooner. And that's just going to help us with the cash portion of these acquisitions. We try and, you know, give them as much stock as possible, but of course some of them, all of them, want some cash. So look out for the news on a pretty large funding opportunity.
Once again, Single Point Incorporated, SING is their stock symbol. Greg, you're always growing. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having me.
Well, this week on the Money Wrap radio program, we're going to talk about the Do Nothing Congress. And for more information about what radio station you can find us on or to listen online, visit our website at moneywrap.com. Call us right now, 888-259-4449, toll free from anywhere in the world for free information about our featured guests. When you do call, be sure and ask to be added to the subscription list of our Money TV newsletter. That is also free. It's an email publication, so we will need your email address. Again, toll free, 888-259-4449. Visit us at moneytv.net. Please like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. That's our show this week. As always, we'll be back next week. Thanks so much for joining us.